Think deeply, Senators. Think deeply, members of this House. Think deeply about what's at stake here. I ask for this motion to pass.
Members are reminded to address their remarks to the chair. For what purpose does the gentleman from California rise?
Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to the motion to recommit.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, it is odd, very odd, to hear the argument again in this hall that a state's right to deny basic freedoms to its citizens trumps the 14th Amendment to our Constitution. The last time we heard this argument in this hall, it involved citizens' civil rights. Now it is the citizens' water rights, but make no mistake, it is the same old song. The reason we have a 14th Amendment to our Constitution is because its framers recognized that states could become abusive of the rights of their citizens, including their property rights, including their water rights, and the federal government had a responsibility and a duty to protect them. A responsibility and a duty specifically vested in this Congress, a responsibility and a duty that we exercise in the bill that the gentleman from California would have us gut. Well, what does the Constitution actually say on the subject? It says, "No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States." And it grants Congress, quote, "the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article." Now let us turn to the provisions of the bill that the gentleman objects to. It's Title IV. It directs the Interior Secretary in the operation of the Central Valley Project, a federal project, I might add, to strictly adhere to state water rights laws and priorities. It doesn't trample state water rights, it invokes and enforces them. Title IV goes on further to direct the Secretary to strictly adhere to and honor water rights and priorities that were obtained or existed pursuant to various sections of California Water Code. I repeat, it doesn't trample states' rights, it invokes them and enforces them. This sets no precedent for other states. California is the only state in the country with a coordinated operations agreement that combines a federal project, the Central Valley Project, with a state project, the State Water Project, and done so, by the way, at California's request and with California's consent. In fact, Congress has a long history of citing that coordinated operations agreement to invoke preemptive authority over this coordinated federal and state project. The Central Valley Project Improvement Act in 1992 is replete with such preemptions. Mr. Speaker, fewer Americans are working today than were working the day that this administration was sworn into office. This administration's actions caused thousands and thousands of hard-working, farm-working families to lose their jobs. This measure solves that travesty. The same administration that is blocking the thousands of jobs that the Keystone Pipeline would produce has also vowed to veto this measure. I think the American people are going to have a great deal to say about that in coming days. Ironically, the provision that the gentleman would have us remove was specifically placed in the bill because he and his colleagues objected that its original provision might cause the state government to actively undermine the rights of its senior water rights holders. Now, that was a legitimate concern. Senior water rights holders in Northern California were scared to death that they might have the state undercut their water rights, and this bill specifically addresses that concern. To address that concern, this provision was placed in the bill, and now the gentleman objects to it. The gentleman first attacked the bill because the bill lacked this protection, and now he attacks the bill because it has that protection. The gentleman knows. I hold. No, I will not. The gentleman knows. The gentleman knows.
I didn't hear from the gentleman.
The gentleman knows that I have great affection for him. But I must say he is becoming exceedingly hard to please. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Members are reminded not to traffic the well while another member is under recognition. Without objection, the previous question is ordered. The question is on the motion to recommit. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The noes have it.
Vote.
The gentleman from California.
Request
recorded vote. A recorded vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record